What's up, guys? Texans fans and rehab here, coming back with another recap of the week. And I know I'm a little bit later than normal, but I would be remiss if I didn't give it a little extra day for the sauce, because this has been a hectic week in Houston. It's been a lot going on, and to be honest with you, it's a lot to cover. So let's tap in, man. I want to get into the Houston Texans stuff, but quite honestly, man, it's been so much going on around the city. It's been crazy. So I have to pay respects by tapping in with what's going on with the city, what's been happening in the city, the championships that's been going down here, and everything that's been celebrated. So let's get into it, man. Listen, it started out great week, man. Astros got this thing popping. That's why I'm representing with my Stros today. Listen, speaking of getting it popping, man, Meg the Stallion, man, she came out to opening day. She threw out the first pitch, and boy, it was quite the memorable moment. The well-deserved distraction there. Let's see if I can get refocused here. But yeah, Meg threw out the first pitch, man. Astros celebrated. They got their championship rings, and yeah, me too, my boy. But the Astros got their championship rings. They got the opportunity to celebrate and put the closing on 2022 season, man. Again, what a phenomenal season. Congrats to the Astros. Salute to you guys. 2 championships now brought to the city, so we are officially Houston, Texas. Let's keep this thing rolling, man, so we can change the name, man, and keep this thing going. Hang more banners, hang more pennants. Let's celebrate, man. We love it here with all of this, celebratory events and everything that's going on across the city, man. It makes it for a great atmosphere around here. But speaking of atmosphere, the NCAA was in town as well, man. They were representing pretty heavy. You had a lot of events going on surrounding the NCAA. You had the event down in the Discovery Green area and down at the GRB, where they had the Fan Fest and all of that stuff going on, as well as the Final Four down here. So all of that was in conjunction together. I'm still kind of a little bit catching up to speed right now, because I was at the finals game last night, man. Got to see UConn pull it out against San Diego State. Even though I was sitting way, way up in the rafters, hey, I was in the building, man. So it makes for a very memorable experience. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to wait until today to kind of get the video shot and put out for you guys. But, congrats to UConn, man. They had a hell of a season. The game was just, it was so, but I mean, it was good competition, man. I wish it was a little bit more of a competitive game, but Utah took it to those fellas, man. I mean, San Diego State couldn't put up shots like they needed to, and hey, the game is what it is, man. Like, you gotta get out there and play in that championship, man. Otherwise, you don't win. So, congrats again to UConn. But the city has been full of people, man. It's been a wonderful thing to see that the city has been able to stand up well and represent well, and there's been no issues around here lately. So, enough of that, man. Let's get into the Texans, man. This is what we're here for. This is what it's all about anyway. But I just had to give a couple minutes to represent for Houston, man. And congrats to Houston as a whole for the championship representation that was going on here locally. One more thing, let me touch on this real quick. The additional thing that was going on that I think didn't get the publicity that it deserved was that there was a HBCU All-Star game that happened over at TSU. I also got to go check that out. That was pretty cool, man, but it was really under the radar. It was broadcast on CBS, but it wasn't enough publicity going on with that. Hopefully, next time that comes around, man, hopefully they can kind of get that right and get that, more publicized, because it was actually a pretty good game, man. But anyway, we get back into the Houston Texans stuff, man. So it's not a lot of news that's going on this week. I wish that I could say that there was more, especially after all of the information that was popping out of NRG a couple weeks ago. But, we understand why. There was a league meeting that was going on last week, man. So in Vegas, a lot of the team owners, coaches, personnel, all of those people were out there, and they were handling business as far as the functions and duties of the league. And so you had a lot of information that came out, just a lot of little sneaky stuff, conversations, interviews, and stuff like that. So it was some things that you had to dig deep to glean information from, but well worth it. And so one of the things that came out was, of course, they had the league rules were voted on by the committees and whatnot. And there was a couple of little pieces, minor changes that came, and one big change that came through. The main change that came through for this coming season moving forward is that they're going to have the opportunity to flex Thursday night games. So in previous seasons, you've seen the Thursday night games be flexed, where you have a team that is, a better opportunity for them to play or get publicized on the grand stage for a primetime event, and they get flexed into the Thursday night game. Or maybe you get a team that's not performing as well and they get flexed out of the Thursday night game and put on a regular Sunday schedule or something like that. Well, now you have the opportunity for more teams to get flexed into the opportunity twice. And so, with more games, you got 17 game season instead of 16 game season. You might have a situation where, a Kansas City or Houston Texans, ends up on a Thursday night game, not just once, but twice in the same season. So a lot of complaints has come out a lot about that, especially from, the likes of like J.J. Watt, and the fact that, it doesn't give guys a lot of opportunity to recover from, maybe they had a Sunday game that, wore them out, left their bodies raw. Now they got a short week to recover, where they had, plans or whatever for a traditional schedule on that week to come out on Sunday and play. Now they got to prepare with a shortened week, and it just kind of puts those teams at a loss, and the players more importantly at a loss to try to get game plans together, get their bodies right, be able to recover and come out there and do what they need to do for the next game. So maybe something that shows a little impact over time. It definitely is a reflection that the NFL might need to address the fact that they're already having problems as far as health concerns, and the players don't necessarily feel like they got their back. So something that they definitely need to come to some synergy on. But this is what happens in the league. I mean, you got the league owners and these committees that make these decisions about what's supposed to happen for the league and for the betterment of the league, and they're not really concerned about what's going on with the players, because the players are going to come and go. So you have to deal with that a lot. But maybe the players union and these guys can do a little bit better job of kind of standing up for themselves and be able to hold the fort, because now we've seen that although they won on the side where you don't have as many preseason games, they also lost on the side where now you have 17 games on the season. Maybe they can do more you've seen them do some things to increase the roster size, but now you have a trade-off, because apparently there's supposed to be only one cut day now. So they're going to cut straight from 90 down to the 53-man roster, which, to be honest with you, doesn't give guys a second opportunity to really show their skills. Now, you've already had a shortening of the preseason, so you don't have a whole lot of guys to get an opportunity to play and show their skills anyway. But then when you go from a 90-man cut down to a 53-man cut, those guys that were on the ends of the roster who were just fighting to try to get on and get a little bit of playing time, just get some extra plays on film or something like that, even if it's for another team, those guys don't necessarily get that run. And so it's kind of unfortunate that this is going to be the outcome of it. But, you got to wait to kind of see how these things work out over time. Maybe the maturation of the process is going to be overall better. Maybe it's going to, make the evolution of the scouting room, increase to where the coaches have, a better process of sharing information between teams and organizations for what players that they have on their rosters and all of that stuff. Who knows? I mean, to be determined with all of this stuff, but, the changes are being made. Smaller changes are also being made coming out of the league meetings. There's news that players can now start wearing the number 0, which should be interesting. I know, I listen to Mark Vandermeer all the time on the radio, him and Andre Ware, and, they don't necessarily call jersey numbers a lot. I know that's for the refs or whatever, but, it's going to be interesting to see who ends up wearing the Agent 0 numbers across the league, whether it's going to be cornerbacks, wide receivers, quarterbacks, who knows, running backs. I mean, it's going to be a little different look. But I hope to never see a defensive lineman wearing the number 0 or an offensive lineman for sure. I don't think that those two positions even qualify, but maybe you have a linebacker or something like that. I don't know. But one thing that also was mentioned in regard to the numbers is that 0 through 49 and 90 through 99 are now available for like kickers and punters, which I guess we're taking this back to college. I don't know why that's such a big deal, but this is one of the things that's happening in real time. So moving on from that, they've also made an adjustment. This is an adjustment to the launch rule, where if you're jumping off of 1 foot, or you launching off of 1 foot, or you launching off of 2 feet. That's going to be impactful for the game now. So these are just little minor details of league changes. I know that that's not really alarming news for everybody that's watching or whatever, but these are things that you'll be looking out for coming in the new season. One big piece of news that did come out is that D'Amico Ryans had an interview with the NFL Network, and in this interview, basically D'Amico Ryans solidified that the Texans are absolutely looking to draft a quarterback with their first pick of the first round, and so he talked specifically about 2 quarterbacks being top quality guys that that the team is interested in. I think that we already know who those 2 guys are, and if you don't know, C.J. Stroud and of course Bryce Young. And so although Anthony Richardson is out there on the phrase, and he's definitely a project type of quarterback that I think will perform well in the league over time. It's pretty cut and clear that these guys are definitely looking at C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. The additional piece that I gleaned from that interview was the fact that it seems like the Texans are very content to sit there and rest in the second spot and just wait to see what happens with Carolina, or maybe if Carolina trades out of the position and somebody else slides in or whatever. But they seem to be extremely comfortable with sitting in the spot that they're in and waiting to see what happens with that pick, and then they'll just pick the other guy. And I think that they'll probably have a game plan ready to roll for either scenario. So, I mean, either way, you really can't lose. These guys, we've talked about this enough. These guys are guys that are going to be professionals at the next level. These guys are definitely almost ready to roll, as soon as they get drafted. They're going to be in position to be ready to roll regardless. So, hey, man, this is kind of almost in line with what I've been saying for the last few weeks. The Texans have the opportunity to stand pat and make the pick from where they're at, and that's what they need to do. So hopefully we go ahead and we get the guy that we want. Fingers crossed for me that we get C.J. Stroud. Of course, I know I may sound like the opposite guy from what everybody else might want, but just the reality is, I've said it before, I've said it a million times, I'm concerned about Bryce Young's size. So I'll drop it. I know I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but hey, I like what I like as far as the quarterbacks are concerned. And so outside of that, Anthony Richardson had his pro day last week, and needless to say, Florida needs to raise the damn roof. For whatever reason, Anthony Richardson made a point to throw the balls, and hit the roof. It was said that he wanted to outshine Will Levis in his performance at his pro day a couple weeks ago, and lo and behold, I didn't hear crap about Will Levis's pro day. I mean, I did, but nothing like what I heard about Anthony Richardson's pro day. So apparently it worked, and so he got the publicity that he was seeking by go ahead and throwing the ball deep and accurate, and of course, it was with no coverage and all of this stuff, no defenders and all of that stuff, typical pro day stuff, man. And listen, I'm not the type of guy that does breakdowns of mock drafts. I know that there's a lot of videos that are on YouTube about it. If you are into that type of thing, you're welcome to check those out. I got no issues with those guys that do mock drafts. All I can say is this. I've been around watching football for a very, very long time, and I know that mock drafts are really placeholders for the off season because there's really nothing else to do or talk about. And so, these guys will put these mock drafts together, and it's really more or less like, in my mind, like playing, with dolls in a dollhouse or something like that. You're just moving pieces around, just wishing and hoping that you can see what the team may do. And the reality is, none of this stuff is going to make any difference past the first 2 or 3 picks tops. I mean, once that's out the window, then, game on, because anything can happen, especially once trades get introduced and everything. So all of these mock drafts that I've seen, people are doing mock draft 2.0, 3.0. You guys are just doing filler because you got nothing else to do and you need to get a check. I'm not going to hate on it, but I don't have time or the interest in reviewing those type of things or breaking them down. I don't care who the Texans have in a seven round mock draft, because to be honest with you, we're not gonna see those guys when they come around. I don't care about who they draft in the seventh round of some random mock draft. Let's just get to the draft already. So yes, as fans, we're all dying here waiting for the Texans to get to this draft. And I know it's a slow death sometimes, but you know what? We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it, guys. Trust me. The draft is not that far away. The days keep ticking by faster and faster, and lo and behold, we're gonna have a starting quarterback here on our team here in the next couple of weeks. So man, listen, I'm excited. I look forward to it. Once again, all of the excitement that's happening in the city is starting to die down. We're getting back to just regular living around here, regular traffic around here. It's gonna be nice again, man. So listen, I'm not gonna belabor the point. I'm not gonna keep us long, man. I just want to say and check in with my Houston squad, man. Thanks, guys, for all the new memberships. I'm sorry, all the new subscribers. Thanks for all the new likes. The video last week blew up a little bit, so man, I really appreciate the love, and I hope to get more love moving forward as I put more and more videos out. You'll be hearing from me a lot more, especially as the season goes on. But listen, talk to me, communicate with me, send me your shares, send me your information, send me your comments, all of that stuff, man. I love to chop it up with you guys, man, and make fans and connect with you guys, whether it's on here or on Twitter. And yes, I am on Twitter under the same tag name, Texas Fan in Rehab, man. Go check me out, man. Chop it up with me. So anyway, man, till next time, Texas Fan in Rehab, I'm out.